It's considered a model for the rest of the world. Singapore often tops the rankings of the best cities on the planet. With its gleaming skyscrapers, manicured lawns, and spotless streets, it looks almost unreal. Tourists take selfies against this backdrop of perfection. Business deals happen in sleek offices with panoramic views. On the surface, it seems like the ultimate success story. The economy has been growing for decades. Crime is almost non-existent. The education system is among the world's best. But the truth is, this city doesn't really belong to you. Every inch of space is tightly controlled. Every decision you make has likely been anticipated. In this episode, we'll uncover who truly holds the reins here, why the polished order comes with hidden costs, and how easy it is to break invisible rules without even realizing it. Welcome to a city where perfection has its price. Can you believe it? In 2025, Singapore turns exactly 60 years old. Just 6 decades ago, it was a simple fishing port. Wooden boats rocked gently in the water, and fishermen sold their catch right off the docks. The air smelled of salt and spices from nearby warehouses. And now it's a tech powerhouse. The anniversary isn't just fireworks over the bay, it's a national statement. We did it. From almost nothing, they built a modern marvel. The numbers speak for themselves. GDP per capita, adjusted for purchasing power, is around $156,000. That puts Singapore in the same league as Switzerland, Luxembourg, and Norway, some of the wealthiest countries on the planet. Everything here runs like Swiss clockwork. Changi Airport feels more like a work of art, with waterfalls and indoor gardens. But behind all the impressive stats lies a rigid structure. Every cog in the machine knows its role. The Smart Nation initiative is Singapore's blueprint for a digital future. Lampposts are packed with sensors that track air quality, count foot traffic, and monitor vehicles. Your digital ID is the key to daily life. Trains, offices, shops, it's all done through QR codes. Physical cash is basically a relic from the past. And the cleanliness? Unreal. Not a single scrap of litter on the sidewalks, not a smudge on the glass storefronts. You won't see police, but you'll definitely feel watched. Cameras are built into the architecture like part of the design. The metro is silent, orderly, disciplined. Even chewing gum has been banned for over 30 years. This isn't just a city, it's a live experiment, a real-time lab for building the perfect society. But what does it feel like to be an ordinary person inside that system? The answer lives in the hawker centers, the heart and soul of Singapore. Retired chefs cook from recipes handed down by their grandmothers. A plate of chicken rice costs $3. Just 3 blocks away, dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant might set you back $1,500. Same ingredients, a price gap of 500 times. And the taste? The hawker often wins. Marina Bay Sands, a ship-shaped hotel floating in the sky. Gardens by the bay, steel trees as tall as 15-story buildings. This is ideology set in stone. We can do anything. Enhance nature, control the climate, design the future. But then there's Pulau Ubin, a tiny island just 15 minutes from the skyline. It's home to elderly residents who still remember Singapore as a fishing village. Dirt roads, wooden houses, no surveillance cameras, just people living their lives. The entire story fits into 728 square kilometers, smaller than Chicago, but with global impact. From here, Asia's trade routes are managed. Oil prices in Europe are influenced. How did a speck on the map become a center of power? Size doesn't matter. Location does, and Singapore sits right at the heart of global trade. Tourists often arrive nervous, spooked by all the stories. No chewing gum? Fine. No loud talking on public transport? Fine. Spitting on the street? Another fine. The list of rules seems endless. Public punishments, strict laws, cameras everywhere. First-timers think you probably need a permit just to breathe. But the reality is much simpler. Yes, it's a system of tight control, but it works. Crime is virtually non-existent. Public transport runs like clockwork. Kids play outside late into the evening, and parents don't worry. You can feel completely safe if you follow the rules. And here, the rules aren't hidden. They're clearly explained. Don't chew gum, don't yell on the subway, don't litter. Basic stuff. In return, you get a city where you can leave your phone on a cafe table and walk away without a second thought. At first glance, it looks that way. Flashy cars, luxury brands, futuristic towers, iPhones in every hand, malls full of high-end stores. It's easy to assume everyone lives like royalty, but over 30% of Singapore's population aren't citizens. Many are migrant workers from India, Bangladesh, China, the Philippines. They build the skyscrapers, clean the spotless streets, drive the taxis, collect the trash. And they live in conditions most tourists never see. Picture this. While you're enjoying rooftop views at Marina Bay Sands, somewhere in an industrial zone, workers are sleeping 20 to a room in shared dorms. The contrast between the surface and what lies beneath is massive. You see the showcase, but rarely the people who make it all run. Tourists stroll through pristine parks, admiring the harmony. Everything's green, clean, perfectly symmetrical. The architecture looks like it belongs in a science fiction movie. It feels like the city was built for beauty, as a work of art. But it's not art, it's engineering. Every tree is planted according to a master plan for urban greenery. Every road is laid out based on transport simulations. Even the scent in the subway is regulated by ventilation systems. Here, beauty is a product, carefully crafted to export an image. Singapore sells itself as a brand. Every postcard, every social media shot feeds into that brand. There's no room for randomness. Even chaos, if it exists, is planned. Many people think that because there's no China-style internet censorship, you can access YouTube, social media, international news, listen to any music, watch any films, so freedom must be alive and well, right? Reality is more nuanced. You're free as long as you don't disrupt the harmony. Want to criticize the government? Sure, quietly. Want to organize a protest? Forget it. Want to publicly challenge state decisions? That's off limits. Freedom hasn't disappeared. It's just been carefully boxed in. Live your life, work, have fun, but stay out of politics. That's the unspoken contract between the state and its citizens. Singapore is known as a country where the rule of law truly works. No corruption, equal fines for everyone. Justice blind to status. On the surface, it looks like a perfect picture of legal equality. But again, reality is more layered. The system watches everyone, but doesn't always react the same way. Whether you're a local, a tourist, or a major investor, the rules apply differently. A tourist might get a warning where a local would be fined. A businessman might resolve an issue quietly, while a regular worker gets into real trouble. The core rule still stands. Don't disrupt the system. If you follow the rules and don't cause friction, the system won't push back. Just remember, you're playing on its field, by its rules. First up, chewing gum, the most famous ban in the world. Since 1992, chewing gum in Singapore has been completely outlawed. You can't buy it, import it, or chew it. The only exception? Medicinal gum prescribed by a doctor. And even then, you have to show ID at the pharmacy. The fine can hit 1,000 Singapore dollars. Imagine that. one stick of orbit, same price as a smartphone. Why such harshness over a harmless habit? The answer's simple. Gum messes up the streets and sidewalks. And here, cleanliness is sacred. Second, food and drinks on the subway. Absolute taboo. Got a coffee in hand as you head down into the MRT? Better finish it upstairs. Carrying a water bottle? Put it away. Even popping a candy is off limits. The rule is ironclad. No eating or drinking on trains or platforms. Cameras catch everything. Volunteer wardens monitor the stations. Spot checks are routine. Fines start at $500. You might be a tourist who didn't know, but the system doesn't care. Ignorance is no excuse. Sound extreme? The results speak for themselves. No crumbs on the floor, no sticky seats, no lingering food smells. The metro's as clean as an operating room. Third, drugs are no joke here at all. Even trace amounts of banned substances in your blood can land you in legal trouble. Confirmed use? Up to 10 years in prison and a hefty fine. Caught trafficking larger amounts, like 15 grams of heroin or 500 grams of cannabis, and the penalty is death. That's not just talk. Executions happen. Protests from other countries don't help. Diplomatic pressure doesn't work. The rules apply equally to citizens and foreigners alike. Sounds harsh? Maybe, but the result is real. Drug crime is nearly non-existent. The streets are safe, day or night. Fourth, cross the street outside a crosswalk, that's a $50 fine. Swear in public, that could cost you up to $1,000. And if it comes off as threatening, it could turn into a criminal case. Play loud music in public, neighbors might call the police. That's the level of control we're talking about. You're being watched, even when you're just walking down the street. The social norm here is silence and neatness. Don't disturb. Don't draw attention. Don't stand out. It's not brute force pressure. It's structural. The environment is designed to make breaking the rules uncomfortable for you. Fifth, smoking is strictly location-based. Want to light up? You'll need to find a designated zone. Look for yellow rectangles painted on the pavement with ashtrays nearby. Step a meter outside that box and you're breaking the law. Outside malls? Nope. At the beach? Nope. In your residential courtyard? Also number. Even your own balcony might be off limits if the smoke bothers your neighbors. Get caught, and it's up to $1,000 fine. The system knows where you're smoking. Cameras, smoke sensors, citizen complaints. It's all part of the control net. Sixth, alcohol comes with a schedule. From 10:30 p.m. to 7 a.m., buying alcohol is banned. Supermarkets, convenience stores, even most restaurants without a special license can't sell it. The exception? Bars and clubs with 24-hour permits. Drinking in public is off-limits too. No sipping in parks, no drinks at the store entrance, not even outside your Airbnb, only at home or inside licensed venues. Break the rule, and you're looking at patrols, fines, and possibly even a travel ban. Even parties here run on a clock and a permit. In Singapore, freedom comes with a schedule. Seventh, spit on the sidewalk. A camera might have caught it. Toss a cigarette butt. Someone could be watching. Tag a wall with graffiti. AI is already scanning footage, and your offense might be flagged later. Surveillance covers every block. The human element is minimal. Artificial intelligence monitors everything in real time. Violations don't go unnoticed. Sometimes the fine shows up in your inbox. Other times, an officer knocks on your door. Eighth, being loud is not an option. That's the rule that ties everything else together. Singapore is tuned for quiet, order, and predictability. It's not about censorship. It's about calibrating the environment to a specific standard. Want to express yourself? Go ahead. at the right time, in the right place, in an approved format. The system isn't against individuality. It just wants it to fit within the bigger picture. Singapore isn't about freedom in the way most people define it. It's about comfort for the majority. And that majority is willing to give up a bit of personal freedom for collective ease. You're not a prisoner here, but you're not entirely in charge either. You're a guest in a remarkably well-run system. Now let's talk about the mistakes tourists make. And trust me, there are more than you'd think. Mistake number 1, showing up with a wallet full of cash. Many travelers stick to the old rule: bring a pile of dollars or euros just in case. Cash never fails, right? In Singapore, that thinking backfires. Currency exchange booths at the airport shave off at least 5%. Downtown isn't much better. Add-on commissions, plus the annoying pile of small coins you'll never use. A TMS, also a trap. Fees can hit $5 or $6 per withdrawal, especially with foreign cards, and your home bank might sneak in hidden charges and bad exchange rates. But here's the thing: Singapore has gone almost fully cashless. Google Pay works at street food stalls. Credit cards are accepted on buses and trains. Even fruit vendors display QR codes at their stands. The takeaway: bring a bit of cash for your first coffee and cab ride. After that, go all in on cards. The system is transparent, the rates are fair, and you'll avoid a bunch of small, costly surprises. Mistake number 2, booking a hotel based on glossy photos. You scroll through booking.com. Panoramic skyline views, rooftop pool, glassy facade, glowing at sunset. You click reserve, land in Singapore, and walk straight into a marketing illusion. Your view turns out to be a construction site that kicks off at 7 a.m., or a mall parking lot with constant honking. That park view, just 3 palm trees squeezed between highways. Singapore is constantly building. New projects break ground every month. What looked like an empty lot in the photo might be scaffolding and cranes by the time you arrive. Hotels usually won't warn you in advance. Use Google Maps before you book. Check Street View. Read recent reviews on Reddit and travel forums. Promo photos are often outdated or shot from the one angle that hides the chaos. The real view might be a very different story. Mistake number 3, buying a tour from a guy on the street. The setup is familiar. A friendly local approaches you with a folder of glossy photos. He promises a private tour, special price just for today, and access to hidden spots no one else can show you. An hour later, you're sweating through the heat, listening to a recycled monologue straight from Wikipedia, and realizing you paid 3 times too much. That air-conditioned bus never existed. The insider experience, more like a generic script with zero depth. In Singapore, licensed guides work through hotels, official apps, and trusted platforms. The system monitors quality. Want to save money? Plan your own route. The city is safe, the transport is reliable, and signs are in English. Exploring solo here is easier than in most countries. Mistake number 4, flying in during August. Get ready for a sauna, 32 degrees Celsius and 90% humidity. This isn't just hot, it's steam room with no exit hot. You start sweating the second you step outside. Clothes cling to your skin. Your hair turns into a soaked mop. Your camera lens fogs up every time you leave air conditioning. And the rain. Tropical downpours that flood streets in 5 minutes. No warning, no mercy. Social media may show a sleek, picture-perfect version of Singapore. The reality in August? Sticky, damp, and exhausting. The best time to visit is February, March, April, or July, when the heat is milder, the humidity manageable, and the rain mostly plays by the rules. Mistake number 5. Raising your voice at a waiter. Expecting results through pressure? In Singapore, that strategy backfires fast. Some tourists are used to handling problems with volume. Bad service? Raise your voice, demand better, lean on emotion or authority. But here, the louder you get, the worse it gets. Staff will quietly step back. Other customers will start watching. Surveillance cameras will record every word. And within minutes, the police might show up. In Singapore, politeness is currency. A smile, an apology, a calm tone. That's the only way to resolve anything. Aggression isn't seen as assertiveness. It's seen as disturbing the peace. And the whole system is designed to prevent conflict before it starts. This isn't about suppressing personality. It's about a philosophy of shared comfort. Your right to express yourself ends where someone else's right to calm begins. And that principle runs deep. Whether you're at a restaurant, on the subway, or just walking down the street. Enough about rules and mistakes. Let's talk about why you should come here in the first place. And trust me, there are plenty of reasons. Start with Chinatown and Maxwell Hawker Center. This is where the real city lives. Forget the skyscrapers and the mirrored facades. Here, it's narrow back streets, walls weathered by time and humidity, and the smell of stir-fried noodles blending with spices in the air. Lines for chicken rice stretch halfway down the block. Uncle Tan, 80 years old, has been frying Hokkien mee at the same stall for over 4 decades. His noodles cost $3, and Michelin star chefs downtown study his recipes. People eat standing up, crowded around plastic tables, laughing at jokes in 3 languages at once. They haggle over extra chili sauce like it's gold. This is Singapore, unfiltered. No AC, no mood lighting. It's the one place where the system seems to take a step back and lets the city breathe like something alive. And you feel that life in every sound, every scent, every glance. Gardens by the bay. Welcome to the future. Imagine steel trees rising 50 meters into the sky, solar panels instead of leaves, LED-lit branches that sway to music. At night, the show begins. Fog rises from the ground. Lights flicker in sync with the soundtrack. Echoes of spacey music bounce off glass domes. You stand among these metal giants and feel the future breathing all around you. This isn't a park. It's an experience. A place where technology becomes art, where engineering turns into emotion. Every element is designed down to the last millimeter, but the result feels like magic. And by the way, those trees aren't just pretty. They collect rainwater, ventilate the greenhouses, and generate energy for the entire complex. Beauty with a purpose. That's Singapore's philosophy in its purest form. Pulau Ubin, an island where time stood still. 15 minutes on an old wooden boat, and you're in a different world. No asphalt, no traffic lights, no surveillance cameras, just creaky bicycles, wild palm trees, and fishermen with nowhere to be. Wooden stilt houses where families have lived for 3 generations. This is Singapore in the 1960s, before the master plans, before the control grid, before the city became Asia's business hub. Here, you can actually exhale, sit on a pier, stare at the water, and stop thinking about fines and forbidden behavior. Locals here live without Wi-Fi, but know exactly when the tide will turn. They don't use maps, but could guide you through the mangroves blindfolded. It's a different rhythm of life, different priorities. Haji Lane, 300 meters of freedom, the shortest street on our list, and one of the most important. Tiny cafes the size of closets, boutiques with clothes from local designers, graffiti that's not only allowed, but officially welcomed. This is where the system steps back, where being loud, creative, and unpredictable is part of the deal. The barista knows your name by your second visit. Artists sketch portraits right on the sidewalk. Musicians perform without a permit. It's a rare exception to Singapore's rules, a small oasis of chaos in a sea of control. And maybe that's why both locals and tourists love it so much. It offers a glimpse of what the city could be if the system ever loosened its grip. National Gallery, where architecture becomes art. The old Supreme Court and City Hall, now fused together by sleek glass walkways. Colonial columns meet minimalist design. History in conversation with the future. Inside, you'll find the largest collection of Southeast Asian art. But it's not just about the paintings. The building itself is an artwork. Light installations glow inside grand old chambers. Rooftop decks overlook the skyline. Quiet spaces invite you to pause and reflect, even in the heart of the city. This is where you see how Singapore treats its past, not by tearing it down, but by weaving it into the present. Not by forgetting, but by reimagining. Old walls, new meanings. Lau Pa Sat, BBQ Street. Dinner under the stars. At night, the street closes to traffic. Grills are rolled straight onto the asphalt. Smoke rises toward the skyscrapers. Lights bounce off the glass walls of nearby banks. Satay sizzles over open coals. Shrimp crackles in hot pans. The chefs, drenched in sweat and smoke, smile at every customer. Spices swirl through the city air. Aromas drift between concrete towers. It's an open-air theater where food takes the spotlight and the city is the stage. You sit on a plastic stool, eating skewered meat off bamboo sticks, and you feel Singapore around you. Alive, warm, breathing. Beneath billion-dollar towers, street kitchens hum to life. And this isn't a contrast, it's harmony. High tech doesn't cancel out simple pleasures. Control doesn't smother joy. Singapore isn't a tourist attraction. It's not a postcard city, not a curated social media backdrop. It's a system, one that works, but not for you personally, not for your habits or preferences. It works for the majority. Here, you're a guest, polite, paying, invisible. As long as you don't disrupt the flow, you'll be welcomed with smiles. As long as you follow the rules, you'll get the show of lights, design, and food. Play by the rules and everything runs like clockwork. The city gives you comfort, safety, impressions, but not total freedom. It won't let you be fully yourself without boundaries. It's not hospitality, it's a contract. And maybe, for many people, that's exactly what they want. A place where you don't have to worry about consequences, don't have to stress about the plan, don't have to think too far ahead. The system's already done it for you. But if you're someone who values unpredictability more than comfort, there are other paths in the world.